Hey guys, welcome back to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today's one's going to be short and sweet, but it's super important. It's near and dear to my heart because I almost put my Nova off the end of the track the first pass last year because I didn't do this. Parachutes, they're a safety device. Some tracks you need them, some tracks you don't. Either way, if you become dependent on them or need them in a pinch, they just need to function properly. And so you need to do everything you can to make that work. We have CO2 assist handles where you can use a steering wheel so you're not taking your hands off the wheels. But down to the most basic function, the most basic thing is the release cable. If you've never been around one of these before, they're basically like a little inner cable that's wrapped with a bunch of braided cables to give it strength so that when you route it up and down and all around, it can still slide back and forth and operate properly. This cable is common across a lot of industries, and all parachute cables are made exactly the same. That being said, when you get all of this done, one commonly missed thing is to make sure that you don't have exposed inner cables. And you can see that on this cable, there's all these little wires. So when you go to shorten the cable, or this is actually exactly how they come from the factory, they have these little wires and they tend to fray, and they have sharp edges. And the problem with all of that being exposed is that on the inner loop, which is what we call it on the parachute, which is what holds it from deploying, if that gets snagged on that, when you're trying to pull it, it can prevent the inner loop from releasing and the parachute from going out. So you can still pull that, the little inner thing will come out. It happens all the time. Check out this picture. This was off of a car that had deployed the parachute, and it caught the inner loop on the actual frayed end, and it prevented it from deploying. Now that can be super catastrophic. Like I said, the first pass out last year with my Nova, 180 mile an hour, didn't really get on the brakes super hard. I hit the parachute like I normally did, and then all of a sudden the end of the track coming up, and I literally just drove the front wheels off the track and the back wheels stayed on. But if I didn't have really good brakes, I would have been in the cornfield and I'd be rebuilding probably the suspension on my car. On a really short track, you might go into the woods. Some tracks go right out on the highways, everything in between. So obviously, same reason you need a parachute is the same reason you need it to work properly. So we certainly didn't invent this product. There's some other people, I think Tim McAmis has them, but we wanted to make sure we had these readily available. And it's a cap that basically slides on the cut edge. Your inner piece still goes out, and it just basically screws on to the end of the cable. And what that does is it creates a smooth surface that can no longer be caught on that inner loop. It screws on there so it just stays put. It screws right onto that plastic cover, and you can crank it down with pliers if you want, but you can also turn it by hand. We developed a thread that kind of is really easy to go on, but then stays and digs in. And then that whole opportunity for error and mistakes goes away. It's a $9.99 part. Make sure you get one. There's some other things you can do at home to make the same product yourself. If you're real handy and have a lathe, you can make your own. Just make sure you do it. Save yourself and make sure that your parachute deploys every time. If you need to get one of these caps for your ride, I'll put the link in the description below. So that's it, guys. Tech Tip Tuesday over. If you have comments, drop them down below. We'd love to hear them. That's how we get ideas for the next ones, and that's how we get ideas for products along with our own mistakes. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.